All right, we have up next the, well, I want to steal their thunder, but gluten-free beer, which I think most of us have partaken in the back. So Scott and Craig, come on up, and let's talk about beer. We have two mics. All right, now we have to get let's get you the right.
Here, you hold that one. I'll hold it. I'm in the way. Well, I'm going to try and do this. I apologize right up front. Everybody in the back row that's on my team has said, Craig, you got to only have 5 minutes, so.
Dude, you brought beer. We love you already.
Well, there you go.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to read a little bit because I'm trying to keep it short.
Please go try some beer.
They're Bridge Space members, so we've already tried out some of the beer a couple days ago.
Again and again and again.
So we love when you are members here and you bring your product that's make us be the test. The test dummies, I guess, or the.
Yeah. We've honestly found a lot of quality control experts that have been volunteering the entire time.
Exactly. What can you see? From current slide. From the beginning.
That's the second.
Not from the current one. Well, here,
Go all the way over. There you go. Keep going.
Oh, he put it all.
Yeah.
He put it all in one.
Hey.
Amber really runs the joint. All right. All right. Gonna try this again. Okay, microphone. Sorry, guys. We're gonna try this again. My name's Scott. Craig. Like this? Oh wow. Feel like Miley Cyrus. I don't look like it though. All right, my name's Craig Belser. This is my brother Scott Belser.
Hello.
I don't know if all of you realize it, but the first gluten-free beer in the entire gluten-free beer market started here right in Lee Summit. Started 16 years ago. There was no gluten-free beer on the market. Nasty doctor told me I couldn't have gluten-free, or I couldn't have beer anymore, so we went out, the two of us went out and created the entire gluten-free we created gluten-free beer in our sorry. We got the gluten-free beer that started in our garage and went out and put it on the market, and it took off like a rocket. It was incredible. You're going to get a lot of technical. Sorry. So again, we're headquartered in Lee Summit. We started out 16 years ago. We went to upstate New York, started the beer. The beer took off. We went and it was in 9 states in 3 months, which is completely unheard of. Big sucking sound was there are 1% of the population that doesn't have an ability to drink any kind of beer. It was a $450 million untapped market at the time. We were first to market, and we had people pulling it off the shelves. As it stands today, we are one of the top 3 gluten-free beers, and we have been from day one. We have an incredibly good brand following. We started out by making a sorghum malt-based beer, and that sorghum malt was a key to the flavor of the beer. That's why the beer back there doesn't taste like a gluten-free product. It tastes just like a normal beer. For 7 years, we ran the project. We ended up it grew so fast that I stepped out of it for a bit, and we had some professionals from Pabst run it. We've just recently taken it back, decided to consolidate everything into the Kansas City area. We've now got a malt house in Kansas. That malt house is running full blast, and we're brewing in Colorado. We've got a model of actually having outsourced logistics, outsourced brewing, outsourced the malting. We come out here and we just produce a really good beer. See, I apologize for all the words again. We are ground to the grocery store shelf. In other words, we control the entire thing. I'm gonna let my brother talk
So,
about that.
farm to foam, whatever you want to call it, seed to seal. Gluten-free, they're really particular about owning the chain of custody. So he's the celiac, I'm not. So I was drinking for taste, he wasn't. We own the malt house. The malt house is sitting right now in the sorghum fields in Kansas. So it follows suit. It goes from the field to the malt house to the brewery, into the can, and it's checked all along the way. So there's a huge trust factor there. So
Trust being the key component. By being the first and being the ones that are recognized, and the entire time that we've run this product for the 16 years that it's been on the market, we've never had somebody come in and say it's gluten, they got gluten contamination from us, ever. End of story. And that's because we have growers that grow it. We do everything. In fact, we have got a methodology. There was, thank you, Ben. So we ended up having, we ended up having a competitor come on. It was barley-based beer that made people sick, but it called gluten reduced. They did some things that basically made the market realize they could have a better tasting beer, but in the backside, people were getting sick off of it. We came out with conceptually put, and
hey,
okay, we're 30 seconds, great. Told you it was going to take longer than 5, but I'm trying. So we came up with something called Truly Gluten-Free. It's absolutely positively safe. There is no gluten. There's no chance of gluten. We test it. We've got transparency. The web page is basically saying that it's completely gluten-free. It's going to be the gold standard of where we're at. We have taken our underlying technology. We're producing just not one style of beer. We're going to produce additional styles of
Correct.
beer.
We're going to call it good because this is part of what we do here.
That's right.
Done deal.
So thank you, Craig.
So the ask,
Yeah.
we are driving an equity drive for marketing. We're trying to re-enter this thing. This is a big deal. This hasn't been done in gluten-free anything before. So
Sales took off, and we're
yes,
basically
so
needing the money
we're
for
back
the
in it.
sales.
And then my pitch is this: drink the beer and then go tell your 10 people, please. Just tell everybody about it. All right?
So what we're going to do is we're going to find them resources because there's some things about. I always say that a slide should be like a billboard that you drive by at 80 miles an hour. If you can't see it at 80 miles an hour, there was no point in having all those words because nobody saw them. Nobody saw any of those words up there, and
Right.
and take that in the way it's meant. So we'll work with you guys, but we also want to cut you off at 5 minutes so you realize the pain of trying to get it done. And so Rhonda's pitched a few more times, so that's why she's tuned that in a little bit better. So, but we'll get you there. We'll definitely get you there. That's one of the things that's nice about Velocity here, and we've heard that from numerous groups, companies that have come. Is this is one of the few places in town you can pitch and to learn, and still ask and not have. So if you go to Digital Sandbox and you did this, you got maybe one more chance to pitch to them. Maybe. This is where you learn. Where do you get up in front of 50 people, 100 people, and talk? So, all right, so the ask is, hey, tell your friends, and where can we buy the beer? Where can we buy the beer?
Currently in Missouri, you can't.
Oh, well.
You can go everywhere else, but we can't. So tell everybody in Missouri, please.
So tell us how do we help you get beer here?
You go to Hy-Vee, you go to wherever the liquor store in Missouri. I'm on the fence with Missouri right now. I handle the distributors. So just push them. Just say, hey, I'd like some Bard's beer here. Trust me, enough people will tell them that. They'll start moving. So
There we go. All right, questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'll take that. Absolutely, when we say truly gluten-free, there's no wheat, barley, rye, or oats. There's no contaminants. We check cross-contamination in the field. We cross-contamination at the brewery, at the malt house. Absolutely, there is nothing in there. We test down to 10 parts per million, which is the lowest threshold, and from a transparency standpoint, every single test that we do on every single batch of beer is published online on our website.
Other questions? Ben, you got a question? I was going to say Ben's always got
Yes, sir.
So it's like a lot, like a big number. I don't know if you can say it or not, but I don't think people realize
Yes, we,
what's going on here.
we,
This company is basically Summit. This is a national model, international model that we could run out of Lee Summit.
so,
Already raised a bunch of money. And
yes, so we're Canada's our biggest buyer. We're all through Canada, 14 states. We're dealing with possibly the EU in 6 months. So what's happening though is because the beer tastes like it does, this thing it's really marketing money now. It's getting the word out. It's getting, you know, advertising. You know, that's an endless hole, but that's where it's at right now. Buying back market share. So
We,
what's the challenge of, I don't know anything about the beer business, but what's the challenge of like, why is it not Missouri started here?
it's all distributor based. Every state is like a separate country. So when I deal with Kansas, it's different than Missouri. So Missouri, they haven't got their paperwork in yet for whatever reason.
Alcohol-
Colorado just did. Indiana, I'm fine in. You can start calling these states. You can say this is the order I want, but at the end of the day, it really just depends on when they get it done. and how long it takes.
Alcohol is a three-tier system. You end up having, as a manufacturer of the alcohol, we have to send it to a distributor who usually covers an entire state. We have to select a distributor. They're sometimes hard to get into, and they in turn sell to retailers, and that's where you get to go buy it, and you can't cross lanes.
So the retailers put the pressure on, if they need it, it's all demand, right? So if they need it, they're gonna put pressure on the distributors, is that correct?
Well, that's my tactic.
So my thought is on this, and I don't know, maybe this is just silly, but I just see a major social media campaign to get people into stores to say, give me this beer.
And I didn't say that. You did. Thank you.
Yeah, a few of us can tell 10 people, but I just see that your opportunity marketing.
So
Right.
You hire her rap company to.
Well, you're on the right track. So
let me address that.
Connected with any influencers in the community that are in the gluten-free community?
Absolutely. We have, there's a, a group that is very active. We got sick drinking gluten-reduced beer, which is one of them. And we've got influencers throughout British, up in the Northeast. No, we don't actually.
And I'm gluten-free and I'm in all the communities and I've never heard of it.
Really?
actually, we've got some influencers, but I would side table that later because I'm open to any suggestions you have there. I mean, eventually, that's what we want to do.
Please meet us back at a table after this if you would, because I'm very much interested.
All right. Thank you, Bard's Beer. And there's Charlie, our local mascot right there.